You know, some people shouldn't work with children. Not if they don't like children. Alright? I'm so sick of seeing people take on teaching jobs because they want the summers off. Okay, you don't take a job with kids unless you love them. Unless you have the patience to deal with everyone's kids, not just your own, and the ones you think are cool, and the ones you like, because the other ones deserve it too. They deserve it too. The love and the attention and the concern. But that doesn't always happen, as we all know. People who advocate for children might get those jobs because they like the benefits. Maybe. This message is for the people who advocate on behalf of children. And I know because I have 4 kids that need advocating. Because I've been doing it forever, by myself. And it's not enough. Alright? And you need an advocate in this world, always. And just because somebody works with kids, you know how that goes. You don't, it's not every person, every priest that's hurt children and everything like that. There's amazing priests. Okay? There's not anybody that's all bad and all good. But in every group there is good and bad, no matter who they work for. Alright? And the people I mention are the people that advocate for children, that advocate for children to love themselves for who they are, to feel safe, to make sure women are safe and not being abused. Now, I want to talk about a school, and I'm not just talking about any school. In the town I'm living in right now, called Great Neck, New York, Great Neck is known for its school district. It gets the highest praise. I think it was in the New York Times in the last 2 years that Great Neck was one of the best public schools in the country. Now, I went to Great Neck North, okay? I went to Great Neck Junior High School. And I went to Saddle Rock Elementary School. And let me tell you this. There is only one school in Great Neck, New York that knows how to care for children, how to nurture them, their artistic side, their differences, so that they don't feel like they have to fit into a box like every other sheep in this life that doesn't make a difference because they have to be like everybody else. You know what that school is called? That amazing school that changes lives and that's been doing it forever? That school is called the Village School. The Village School of Great Neck. And when people hear, oh, the Village School, oh, isn't that a school for, maybe it's a school, oh, well, it's an unschooled school. It's not really a school. It's a damn good school. It's the best school in this town. And everyone that's ever been to the Village School loves it and praises the Village School for saving their lives. Are those kids problem kids? Absolutely not. They were sick of taking shit in Great Neck, so they moved to the Village School because it was safe there. Because they were accepted. That's what that school is. And it's not just a school either. It's not just following some stupid curriculum that doesn't include the arts and other things like philosophy and thinking with your own mind at all in any of these schools, but not the Village School. The Village School, Shakespeare, news, everything. There's not a topic they don't cover. You know why? Because in this life, it's not just about math, English, and history. It's not. And not everybody's kid is special needs because they need to learn in a different way, okay? No, that's not the case. They're not special needs. They're not disabled. Open up, people. Open up. It's even happened to me as an adult here. Everybody's afraid of me in this town because I use my hands to talk. Maybe it's because I'm half Italian. Maybe it's because I have a background in stage. Who cares? But when people see me expressing myself, they say, oh my God, what's wrong with that woman? What is she doing with her hands? Why is she so expressive? What the fuck is wrong with these people? I'm sorry for cursing, okay? I apologize. And I'm not a vulgar girl. I'm just very angry. And I want justice here. I want justice because a lot of wrong was done to us in this town. But the people that did right will get mentioned here. They will be honored and they will be remembered for what they did. Now here's a name, Steve Goldberg. Steve Goldberg is the principal of the village school. Now the village school has always been loved by the people who've gone there. Now, what's wrong here? That Great Neck North, and I'm not saying it's that way now completely, but there's a lot of bullying there. Now, my daughter didn't get bullied there when she had to go there, even though I requested and begged for the village school. Which everybody else said, oh my God, the village school, I wonder what that is. The kids are into music there. Maybe they do drugs, maybe they do this. No, those are the kids that make their own trail. Those are the Steve Jobs, the Bill Gates. Those are special needs people? I don't think so. Those kids are not the one with the problems at all. Because those are the kids that are open and they're non-judgmental. That's what they're taught. Why aren't they taught that in the other schools? How come the Great Neck School District isn't judged for that? What are you looking at, test scores? Why are they comparing Great Neck to other school districts? And other school districts look bad because of test scores. In Great Neck, most of the people can afford training for those tests, can't they? What about the kids who can't? What about those kids? Now, when I came to this town with my kids as an adult, because I had to, because I had no other choice, I was concerned about Great Neck. I didn't like the idea of sending my daughter to that high school. Now, I loved the high school, and I had certain friends there, but I know what it's about. I know what it's about. And I'm not putting it down. I have a lot of friends here that I love. They're great people. But it's not because of this town. I know a lot of people that have prospects and hope and talent and gifts that are so messed up today, some people don't even know if they're alive or dead because they're on drugs. Drugs! You hear my words? Drugs in Great Neck. Did you think there's no drugs in Great Neck? You think they're at the village school? No way. Okay? That's child's play. The real drugs are at the high school. And they've always been there. So, if you're concerned about your kid with drugs, which we all are, okay, because when you have been abused, or if you've been in a bad situation, you don't even have to be in that situation. You could just be giving your kid a lot of cash to play with. Now that kid is going to get in that sports car when he turns 18, like a lot of the kids I knew here, and God forbid a million times, wrap themselves around a pole to prove themselves to some kid in the car because they're driving fast. You know, that's actually a known fact, a biological thing about boys. It's not just the fact that, you know, insurance companies charge more for car insurance for teenage boys because of the risk. You know why there's risk there? It's not just because the kid is a douchebag or because they're learning to prove they're a man, all that crap. It's biological, actually. I did research on it once, and it said when a boy is doing that, it's almost like a mating ritual. He's trying to attract the opposite sex. He thinks that's cool, to drive fast and rev his engine. You know what I tell my kids? Don't ever get in anybody else's car, ever. Ever. Don't do it. I don't care if it's your best friend. I don't care if it's a girl or a boy. You don't get in their car, because you don't put your life in someone else's hands like that. Not a teenager. No, not some kid that's, you know, gaining independence and autonomy from his parents, which is normal, but uses speeding as a way of feeling that. That's not good. So I told my daughter she's afraid of driving, which I don't blame her, because there's some crazy drivers out there, but you need to drive. You should never be afraid to drive, as long as you're at the wheel, okay? You drive the car, just like you control your life. It's always better to do it yourself, because you know you're going to do it the right way, or at least the way that you know how. Now, if you want to screw up and you want to take shortcuts, that's your choice. But then you take the wheel of your life and you deal with the consequences. You don't get your kids stuck in those consequences, or anybody else. And that's why I tell my daughter Alexandra, you learn to drive. You'll be the best driver out there, and there's nothing to be scared of. You can go slow. You can go 30 miles an hour. That's what I do. I'm always careful. I don't give a shit if somebody's beeping at me because I'm not speeding. Too bad. They'll wait another 2 hours to get to their manicurist, all right? I'm not getting killed over some asshole behind me because they're in a rush, because they're annoyed that their appointment might have to be rescheduled. Sorry, do your nails another day. I'm going to get there safe. And that's what I tell my kids, because that's the right thing. Now, Steve Goldberg wasn't always the principal of the village school, and it was still great. Everybody that ever went there wants to go back and honor them, wants to go speak to the kids there, because they take people and they save their lives. It's not just teaching. These are the people that get the funding, that need the funding. These are the people that deserve it, that need it, that the kids need. And you remember that if you're interested in educating your kids, get involved at the village school. Build it up. Give Steve Goldberg money to build it. Because a lot of kids need the village school, and it's not big enough. Because Great Neck's too busy putting more flowers around the high school and everything else that doesn't count and doesn't matter and doesn't make a difference. The village school makes a damn difference. Where is the funding? Where is it? Why aren't they getting the respect they deserve? Why? They are the best. And let's face it, that is the trend, okay? That is the trend this world is going in. Why? Because of how fucked up these schools are and what they're doing to the kids. The testing and the standardized testing. What is that? What the heck is that? What testing? If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, you'll think it's stupid? That's right. And it's the same with kids. What is all this stuff? What is it? Your kid can't stand out because if they do, people are going to say they're crazy? What? What are we teaching these kids? People who made a difference in the world. The Martin Luther Kings. The people that are fighting for justice. Whatever their ending was, that wasn't their legacy. They made a difference. Harriet Tubman. We have to speak out. We need to be advocates for children, and we need to know who's doing it with us. Okay? You know what bothers me? We know that we have to do a background check on everybody that is ever going to care for our kids, right? If you're going to hire someone to work with your kids, I certainly hope you're doing a background check. I mean, I've seen plenty of people that have not. I was left with people when I was a little girl. I was bathed by people that weren't my parents, that my parents hardly knew. Now, I'm not going to talk about that experience. I know a lot of people that do it. The baby's born, they hire a nurse for 2 months so they don't have to wake up or see the baby. Yeah, she's so cute, look at this dress. But when the baby's in the middle of the night crying, the mother is not in there. They don't bother with that. And I'm not judging that because somebody has to work or somebody has to whatever. I'm not saying you have to wake up and be with the baby, but that's not the point. You have to know who's watching the kids. And I'm sure every good parent, whether they're there or not, or somebody else is helping, they're making sure. Now, why is it when you drop your kids off at a school, you don't get to meet the teacher before your kids are dropped off there? Why? Why not? Why? What does that mean? You don't have to worry because they're teaching? I'll leave it to the school to make the decision of whether they're safe. That's not working out, okay? I had a teacher that couldn't get fired because of tenure when I was in high school, and he was dead drunk every time he was in the classroom, and he stunk like alcohol and sweat. Now, you don't think we noticed that? And because of tenure, he was with us. So when I go to take my kids to a school, I want to meet the people there. I want to meet the teacher. I don't have to judge the teacher in any way. I just want to feel her out and see if my children are going to be safe there. And not just safe, that she's going to be looking out for bullying. Bullying! I don't care what kind of anti-bullying crap you marketed for your school or what school it is. It's not working. Not enough is being done. Kids are committing suicide. The internet has taken over and bullying is worse. The schools need to do more for children. And they need to know and have a sense of who's safe for those children and who's not. And the schools should never make a decision on what they think of someone as a parent based on what they're wearing. Because someone like myself is not wearing a nice dress right now because she doesn't have access to the clothes that are locked in her storage. And why are they in her storage? Because of discrimination. And because I wasn't allowed to move my furniture into that co-op on 11 Bullies Lane. Why? My mother owned that apartment for 23 years. Owned it. My sister Brooke, a brilliant girl. Hurt, but brilliant, and of course, she was hurt, like I was. Okay? So my sister deserves the best, and if I ever have anything, she's gonna have it too. That doesn't mean that my sister wants to be near me, or likes me, or I feel like I can have my sister with the kids, or that you want to be with them. I'm talking about my sister Brooke. Okay? A beautiful, smart girl that I will never forget, that little girl. I love her. I loved her. I used to hear her crying down the hallway when she was a baby with that baby nurse who wouldn't let me in the door. Now, my mother wasn't in there. It was that baby nurse. I wonder what she knew about that woman. I really do. Because that woman wasn't so nice. And I heard my sister crying all night. Now, I was the only one in that house. I couldn't sleep with that sound. Why not? Why not? When you hear a baby crying, does that get inside of you? Because it should. And if it doesn't, there's something wrong with you. So I couldn't sleep when I was growing up because I heard my sister crying. And that means that baby needed help. So I would go to the room, and I would be met by the gatekeeper, the baby nurse, who would then close the door. What the hell was she doing in there? That's what I want to know. Why couldn't I come in and comfort my sister, and why wasn't she doing it? And why wasn't my mother looking at her and saying why? Why wasn't my mother checking? Maybe she wasn't home. I don't know. Whatever. What I'm saying is, the whole racket concerns me. We need to be more concerned about our kids. Just because somebody said that's a good baby nurse. How do you know? How do you know? Do you have cameras in there? Do you have cameras everywhere? Just because Linda or, Joyce said she's a fabulous baby nurse, oh my God, she's so fabulous, that doesn't mean she is. You check. You check on the kids.